Now we should be recording. Thank you, Adam. And back to this. Thanks, Adam. Recording, and you can still see my screen here, Adam. All good. Thanks, Adam. I just start from the beginning here. This is participation from Adam, the man. So, welcome to this income breakthrough training. And I call it Built from the Inside Out because that's the purpose of this community now. It's business, it's inner game, and it's vibrations. And this will probably be the first or one of the first modules in a brand new version in the classroom called something like Income Breakthrough Blueprint. So today I'm going to share something very, very powerful with you, something that I'm so excited about. It's actually something you could call it a tracking sheet, something to get clarity on, and but not only that, use it as a reference point. And my mission now in this community is to help people get to the 10K months from the inside out. So this training will be kind of the beginning, and it's a welcome. So Adam, who's with us today, has been with me, and we've been on many calls. And when you join, it might be the first time you hear about me or hear about the community. I'm just going to share a little bit about the community here, and then we'll dive into the training. Because if you're watching this, you're probably not here because you just want to build any business. And you probably want to build an online business that works financially. And when that is said, what we're doing here and what my mission is to help you build towards consistently 10K months. But there's one thing that became so obvious for me the last month as I tested something, and that is the road to the 10Ks and the 10K months. I've been at 50K months, and with my cleaning business, I went much, much, much higher. But let me reframe this. It's not only about the money, because I also believe now that the way that we get there matters. So now I speak for myself, and you can see if you resonate with this. I want to build a business that I really love being in, I love serving from, and I love building. So a business that's totally aligned with who I am and how I want to live my life, and also the impact that I want to make. And that's what this community is all about. So, actually, the mission here is we're building successfully businesses from the inside out. And I would even say, because I've joined other communities and there's a lot of great communities, but one thing that I learned is, and it reminded me of what I've been doing since I've done business for the last 14 years. It's not just follow my exact strategy, because I believe more and more that all of us are unique. We have our own story, we have our own calling. So, what I was inspired to, and that's probably why you're here if you just joined, is that we will create something and you will create your own path. That's why I said from the inside out. But I will do my best to help you on that path and create trainings for you to keep building, but in an aligned way and where you feel as good as possible for yourself, for your members, for your team members, for your family. So we're not dead, stressed, sick, tired, and all of that if we reach those 10Ks. It should be fun on the way. And here's a question, because if your business became exactly what you want it to be, if your business became exactly what you want it to be, what would your life actually look like? And just think about this. And if you want to, just put a comment in here. And Adam, you're with me, so please do. And I know you're great at participating. And then after that, my big question is, and that's the question that I asked myself this last month: are you building that business today? Or are you building the business that you think you are supposed to build? And there's a huge difference. So if you are watching this as a recording, or Adam come back to it, I really invite you to go back and ask yourself these two questions, because they're very powerful. So what I'm doing here now forward, what I've been doing all along, is actually to share from all of my learnings about business, about the inner game, and about vibrations. Things that helped me to get out of the $1.5 million debt, things that helped me to create a company to 60 people in less than 4 years, things that helped me to create a 50K coaching funnels in 3 months or something. All of these things, all of these learnings. So the next thing here is, I'm just going to make sure that, yeah, we're going to take this one too. First of all, this community is for the income breakthrough community, is for online entrepreneurs who knows that they're capable of more. And it could be, it's not necessary. I've actually, what I've worked with before has been very experienced entrepreneurs. So I know that many people in the community now might not be experienced entrepreneurs. Some are running communities, some are not. Some are making a little money, some are not. But there's a calling inside of you probably that feels like there's more. And I believe that when something keeps calling you, a business, a vision, a different life, a bigger impact, there's a reason you can't completely let it go. I've been thinking sometimes, and maybe you resonate with this, maybe you don't, but I've been thinking sometimes that, why am I doing this? Other people, they have a job, they earn a good living, they don't have stress around all of these things, building a business. They go home, they're with their family, they get a salary. And that's the question I also asked myself. And also in this last couple, actually the last month here, when I went a little to the side in my direction, and that was, and the answer is, something is calling for me to step up and help people, serve people. And I can't just run away from that. So maybe you also feel that calling. I do believe that's why you're here. Just write yes or no. So from here, let me see what the next slide is here. First of all, from this slide, The vision here is to build a business that you love, not just in the future, but also now. A business that's aligned with who you are, the life you want, and the impact you want to make. And then the goal is consistent 10K months. And why that? Because a lot of the people that I spoke with, they kept saying 10K is the first step. So that's why I came to that one. And for most people, and you can make the quick calculation if you didn't already, for most people, 10K would make it possible to live a good life. We can keep on building, we can keep on serving more people, but for now, that's it. So let's see what the next slide is here. I got a couple of pages. Yeah, that was the question I asked before. We can leave this here. So I'm just saying again, are you building the business you want or the business you think you're supposed to build? And actually, I found this quote from Steve Jobs: your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. This is so good. You are you. And I do believe more and more that being aligned with your values, with what you really want to do, will help you and serve you getting to those 10K months even faster. And that's what this training is all about. That's what the first tool that will dive into this training is what I'll open in a moment here. And let's see what the next one is. Here we go. 3 different parts. And this is what this classroom is going to be all about. So it's business, it's the inner game, and it's vibrations. And if we speak business, let's take this part. I can just mention what I write down here, that you can't separate the business from the person building it. You can't separate the business from the person building it. And that's so important. I could speak for hours, but I'm doing my best to make sure I get through all of the training. But if you are stressed on the way, if you're not aligned, if it doesn't feel good, I'm not talking about not going out of the comfort zone or not pushing yourself. I'm just talking about if you are coming from a place where your vibrations are low, negative, stressed, and I've been there. So it's passion if you feel it. Well, that's going to be your business. And on the other way, if you're coming from vibrations that's full of alignment, that you feel so powerful about what you're building and you can't wait to get to the next day to help more people or create another post or talk with more people or whatever your business is looking like or going to look like, imagine the difference for you, right? So that's, and again, these are my learnings. I learned before, but my learnings from the last month. So let's move on to the next one here. The business part. So there's 3 parts. I'm just going to go through these and I'm going to show you the tool in a moment. I am so actually excited showing with you. So if we look at the business parts, traffic, conversion, that's the offer to client results. That's actually 3 steps, right? Get traffic, convert them with your offer, and get clients' results. And then you could say this is also business, could also lead into some of the other ones, but consistency, keep doing it, and clarity. And don't, you can just ask yourself this question, but I'm gonna show you the tool in a moment. So we're gonna dive even deeper into this. But you can ask yourself already now and feel free to share it here. What one area would change the most for you? What one of these areas would change the most for you right now? I'm not speaking tomorrow or a month from now, just right now. If you could only improve one of these areas over the next 30 days. Which one would create the biggest difference? Conversion. Great, Adam. So I'm not gonna train into these things because the future trainings will dive into all of this. So I'm just gonna mention it. I'm gonna show the tool in a moment. I'm just gonna really give you the high level version of this before we dive into it. And then I'm also gonna say right away that, is your business problem really? See, this is the tricky thing here, and it's still tricky for me because I do believe that most of what happens in our life is a reflection of what's going on inside of us. But when that is said, there's also the question that I bring up here is that, is your business problem really a business problem or an inner problem? And maybe you know, maybe you don't know. So it's just a reflection for yourself, and the tool is going to help you too. Because it could be that a person is doing all the work with the greatest energy, vibrations, and the greatest mindset, but still there's something, and that could be that his business, his strategy, there's a little tweak on the traffic that would help, or on the conversion, as Adam says here, that would help. So to me, it's still after 30 years of business, kind of like the hen and the egg. Which came first? Is it the mindset or is it the business part? But I'm just going to mention this right now. And we could also turn it around and say, do you already know a lot? And do you already know more than enough? So if you did shift your mindset, leveled up your vibrations, would that actually help your business? Again, hen and the egg. And then actually I found, I don't think I have it with me here, so I just found it to my notes here. I found a quote from Jim Rohn that I actually felt really matters here. And it's like this: success is not to be pursued, it is to be attracted by the person you become. I'm going to say this again. Success is not to be pursued, it is to be attracted by the person you become. And that leads me to the next one, which is the inner game. And the inner game, this is not all of it, it's just some of them. The inner game, when we speak about that, I think of it like self confidence, self worth, visibility, decision making, money, self trust, all of these things. And even more patterns and identity, these things that I've been into before, all of this. And I do know from most of the people that I had calls with the last month that for many, they are self sabotaging them and their situation and their business. And it could be even, I don't know if it is, so it's just an example. Adam, you mentioned conversions, but it could be, and I remember from myself, if I don't believe in my offer or it's the beginning of it, I was nervous going on sales calls. And also when I grew my cleaning business, I grew to 60 people by becoming very good at selling, very good at doing meetings. But in the beginning, I sucked at it. And the more meetings I got, the more confidence I got. So I had to go through all of these things and shift my mindset on the way. So, but I do know that from people that I've coached before, that if they go on meetings or sales calls and they don't have the confidence or don't feel that they're worthy, forget about strategies. They will never convert anyone. And on the other hand, I remember I shared this in a video that I was on a sales meeting in my cleaning business, and that meeting was so far from my script and what I put down, and it was so crazy what I said just in passion because I wanted this client or customer, and we had such a great resonance. We just resonated. So I said something that was just like I didn't even know it, and he laughed and he said, "Do you know you said this?" And we laughed. It was there was no strategy in that meeting, and I did end up we he became a customer. We worked together for a long period. So, but I felt so good, and I trusted myself in the business that we could help him. And the question here is, and again, I'm gonna show you the tool. The question here is, what do you already know you should be doing, but you're not doing? And again, so we come into the tool. Remember, you can look in your business and you can say, is it traffic, is it conversion, or is it delivery? And then you can say, okay, it's conversion, like Adam said, or it's traffic. Then look at the inner game and say, is there something here that is impacting my traffic or my if it's conversion? So you begin to nail it down to, okay, here is the thing. Like you're diagnosing yourself as a doctor. See, okay, this is the issue. So if I can handle this issue, I'm gonna make a big improvement in my business. And then let's see, we go to the next one here, and that's vibration. For some, I do know this becomes a little kind of woo-woo, like manifestation things. But I played with this for years now. And again, I cannot say is it the hen or the egg. Now I put all three in here, like we're creating an amazing soup, if you could say so. So you really get aligned with what you're building. But imagine that's what I meant with stress. Imagine a person is running his online business and want to go to 10K a month, but feels stressed. And we'll just dive all into the worst situation here. Has no really vision, isn't aligned with what he or she is building, have no trust, don't believe in abundance or flow, you'd probably agree that that would impact the business and the person's life. So I know that when I built my business, when I built the speaking, seminar, and coaching business on top of that and created a very successful business and had thousands of people through my room, my energy was sky high. My vision was clear. I was so much aligned with what I did. And I trusted the path. And also because I built the cleaning business, I saw more and more money come in. So I was more and more in abundance and flow. So the question in this area, and again, I'm going to show the tool, is what are you creating from? And as I said before, you can't separate the business from the person building it. It's very important to understand. You can't separate the business from the person building it. That's why I called it we are building from the inside out here, but not neglecting the business and the strategies. So I know there's a lot. I'm just going to ask, are you still here, Adam? And does it make sense so far? Because soon we are, and I think we're doing that now. We're jumping into the tool. I'm going to jump into the tool as you write here. So let me just, do you see this? Yeah, I know that's a lot. That's why it's going to be up there and it's going to be something that I do think is good to visit again and again. And I'm going to share now. So here comes something very, yeah, you see it. Awesome. But do you see the new one here, Adam? It's black on white, not the presentation, but a document. Awesome. So I'm not going to talk too much. I'm just going to share it because I do know, as you said. Oh, maybe it's not the right one then. Let me just see. Let me see. How do we do this? Is this what about now, Adam? Another one now? 10K breakthrough scorecard. Just gonna make sure that we see the right one here. Awesome. So this is what we're going through. This document will be in the community, and it will also be. I'll put a link so you can download it in the classroom also. So it's gonna be below the training when it's uploaded. So it's around all of what I've spoken about so far. And I call it the Breakthrough Scorecard. Discover what's really between you and your next level. You already know a lot. Probably watched the trainings, read the books, tried different strategies. But knowing what to do and consistently creating the results you want are two different things. So, this scorecard gives you a snapshot of where you are right now in your business and underneath. And underneath, I talk about mindset and the vibrations. So, a very important advice, don't try to do a good score here. Just be honest with yourself because that's where the breakthrough starts. So, before you begin this, save your answers somewhere you can find them. And I would recommend, I didn't actually put it here, but to make a copy of this and then maybe even put it in a folder that's called the 10K Breakthrough Scorecard, and then save the date when you do it. Because if you want to get to the 10Ks and if you want to fall through on this one, you're going to do this each month. So you can help yourself and you can track if you are on the right way. That's where this becomes really powerful. So make a copy and make sure that you complete it and also save the last one so you can see it. The goal here isn't perfection. The goal here is for this first one to see where you're at and then to see what changed. And then you put in the date of today. And now we'll just dive right into it. So we went through why we're doing all of this. So the first questions here that you go through is your starting point. That's where you are today, right now. So your current monthly revenue, just put in the number. And you can do it in writing in hands if you don't want to do it in the document, but I really invite you to put it in the document, then you can save it. So your current monthly revenue, then your 30-day goal, and then your 6-month goal. Very easy. You'll know the numbers. And then why does it matter? See, this one is important for you. So, what would reaching that 6-month goal change for you? In the community, as I speak now, every week I ask 6 months or a year from now, if everything worked out perfectly, where would you be? And the thing is, when you work on these things, not once, and many people never do this, when you work on these things, you'll begin to shift your mind. You'll begin to shift your energies. So just begin playing with this. Have fun with this. This is not about stress. This is not about pushing. It's about having fun. What would reaching that 6-month goal change for you? Inside and outside. So that's your starting point. Then your business score. So remember, I said it's business, it's mindset, and it's the vibration. So here, what you do is that you rate yourself from 1 to 10. 1, this needs really serious attention, and 10, this is working extremely well. And these are the things that we talked about before. So traffic, I consistently get enough of the right people seeing my business. Then you score yourself. Conversions, I consistently turn attention and conversions into paying clients. You score yourself. Offer, I have an offer people clearly understand and generally want. Then you score yourself. Client results, I'm confident I can create meaningful results for people I serve. Score. And consistency. Score. And clarity. I know who I help, what I help them achieve, and what I should focus on, and you score it. And again, I'm just going to mention it probably a couple of times, but doing this once a month will help you and help you and help you. It might be that you feel very clear or not clear today about who you help and what you help them achieve. And it might be in a month from now because you evolved, you expanded, you learned a lot, maybe talk with more people, and then you're not clear or you're more clear. Again, this is not about being perfect, it's about taking status at where you are at. So that's the business part. I think this should be pretty clear. And then we go to the next part, your inner game. What happens underneath the business? And you'll do the same thing. So rate yourself 1 till 10. 1, this is really holding me back, or 10, I feel strong in this area. Self confidence. I trust myself to figure things out and create the results I want. Self worth. I feel worthy of success, money, and being paid well for what I do. And again, be honest here. Visibility. I feel comfortable being seen, sharing my ideas, putting myself out there. Decision making. I make decisions and move without needing everything to feel certain first. And receiving money. I feel comfortable earning, receiving, and holding more money. Self trust. I follow through on the commitments I make to myself. So, again, doing this shouldn't take more than a couple of minutes because you don't have to think, you just put in the numbers. And the next part, that's your vibration score. So, we're just going to do the same thing again. How are you actually showing up right now? Again, from 1 to 10. 1 is the lowest or worst, 10 is absolutely amazing. I feel energized about what I'm building, and your score. I can clearly see the business and life I'm building toward, and your score. The way I'm building my business feels like me, and your score. I trust that I can create what I'm working toward, and your score. And abundance. I operate from possibility more than I operate from fear and scarcity, and your score. And business feels more like creation than constant force and struggle, and your score. And then it comes, I think that was the what I was on the presentation, your breakthrough score. So what you just do is that you take the numbers from each of the 3 areas and you put them in business, from business, and the inner game and the vibration, and then the total breakthrough score. Put the 3 numbers together here. And again, doing this not only once, and I will make either a training or post. So when you've done this in a month from now, you can see, you go through this again and you can see what are my numbers now. So write it down and you'll compare the next score. You compare this score again in 30 days. And then comes this one, your breakthrough. Now you're going to look at your scores and don't overthink it. Just notice what stands out. So your lowest business score, just put in the area, and if you have a few words, put them in, and then the score. Same thing with your lowest inner game score and your lowest vibration score. Put in what is the area. So let me make an example, and then the score. So let's say the lowest energy score. Let's say, because that's the down here. So let's say you scored yourself on trust 1. That's the lowest one of the energy scores. So then down here, you put in trust. And if a few words come up, put them in here also. So you got them, and then you put a 1 in here. So you do this for all 3 areas. And then you ask yourself, where is your biggest breakthrough right now? Which one of these, if improved, would make the biggest difference to your business right now and your life? And don't complicate this, because going through these things, if you're open to it, the answers will come to you. And then the next question is, what are you avoiding? What's one thing that you know you've been avoiding? And then what's one action you're committed to do over the next 30 days? And that's your breakthrough focus. And it might be that 10 days after you solved it and you feel like, okay, I'm going to take the next one that was very low. Totally okay. There's no right or wrong here. And we're just going to take the last one of the documents too here. So again, come back in 30 days and I'll do a post or training and do it again. Spend those 10 or 15 minutes maximum and go through all of this. Compare your revenue, your business, your inner game, your vibrations. And then ask yourself, don't ask yourself, did I make more money? You can see that, but ask yourself, who am I becoming? And what's changing in the way that I build? There's a huge difference here, and it comes together. I know there's a lot, Adam, like you said. So probably it might be that you want to go through the training a couple of times. But as I said in the beginning, if you are not aligned with what you're building, probably, and that's what happened to me too, you will feel, or maybe you just see it very slowly, you'll feel that you will be drained or stressed or negative. And when you begin to become aware of this and you're building something that you are aligned with, and that's the question, who am I becoming? And from that, what's changing in the way that I build? And then at the end of this, your next step. So that's the training when it's there. I was just having to get my mind into that because it's in the classroom. So below this training, there will be a link to this breakthrough scorecard. And also, as we build this classroom, and it's going to be built week from week, but if it's business that you have to work with, there will be some strategies in there, not for everything or something, but some fundamental strategies. If it's the vibration part that you feel that you have to work with, there will be trainings around that with some different advices to help you higher your vibration. So you can always go when you did the scorecard, you can go into the classroom, the breakthrough blueprint, which is where you are now, and then find exactly the area that you want to work with. So I do hope this makes sense. So I know this was a lot, like you mentioned, Adam, but I really hope, I've been very excited about this. I've been very excited about this because I do believe that this will be something that can help and will help all of us. I'm just going to find and come back to our, there we go. Can you see this that we saw before your 10K breakthrough score, Adam? Awesome. So I'm just going to take the and wrap it up with the last things here. Let me see if there's something that I did forget. So we've been through this, and actually, I want to say again here, no good score, no bad score. It's just your starting point. And what I mean by this, and this is very important, is that it might be that people share their scores and some give very high scores, some give very low. Don't compare to those. That's not important. Think about yourself and your own scores. And this one we went through. What is trying to get your attention right now? So at the end of this, which might also be the end of the training here, I'm just going to see if there's a note here. We're going to take this, but what you have to do now is complete your scorecard, save it, share your scores. There will be a post and I'll link to it, and then repeat it in 30 days. And then there will be a training or a post where you will be reminded of this so you can go through it again and then build from here. Then focused on the things that feels most aligned that you know you have to work on from this one. And I think I'm just going to check the notes if there was anything. I think that's it. I actually think that is it. I just wanted there's a few things that I want to mention here too. That what we are building now, it's not going to be a library of information. So I know there was a lot that we covered in this one, but it's going to be mostly about the inner journey. And then also a few things around strategies that can help you about the business. But what we are focused on here is building from the inside out, is getting you in the best state possible where you feel aligned with the business that you're building and create from that state, from that energy. And I've seen that again and again, how much and how many things can happen in a few or short time when we build from that state. So I think what we'll do now is that I stop recording in a moment, and then I can just I will upload it after. I'm just looking through my notes if there's anything we're missing. I don't think so. No, we got it. So let me see if there was any more here. I don't think so. We are at the end. Complete your scorecard, save it, share your scores or learning in the post, and repeat in 30 days. And again, the mission here is to get to those 10K months consistently, but building a business that we love being in, love building, and love serving the people in there, also on our way to the 10K months. So go and do the work, enjoy it, let's have fun, and I'll see you in the community.